All right. We are live right now, I believe. Can anyone hear me? All right. We're having some camera issues here, so I'm trying to fix some stuff. Please have patience. I'm not IT savvy. I'm just a meteorologist. Okay. I want to do properties. Create camera. Okay, there's that. Oh, remove window capture. Here we go. Sweet. We're cooking. Order, move to top. Okay, let's see. Yeah. Hey, Shelly, and anyone on the live, how do we sound? Okay. Hey, thank you. We're still, when I start the live video, our computer completely restarts all the cameras, and we're at the whims of our pretty strict IT and security requirements. So thank you. We're going to keep loading stuff up. We'll get going here in 3 minutes. Thank you for joining us. If we have any issues, please let us know in the comments. If you have any questions, please let us know as well. We'll do our best to answer them. We will have more time at the end of this to answer questions as well. And we can go into specific communities and get any information you guys need. So. Okay. Hey, thanks for joining, everybody. We'll get going here in about 1 minute. If we have any IT issues, please let us know in the comments. We've got myself and Zoe here. Again, we're not super IT tech savvy, so we're just simple meteorologists, but we'll get going here in about a minute. Foxes, yeah, hi to Guai. We do talk to Environment Canada quite a bit, and yeah, sorry for sometimes that area gets missed. So. All right, everybody. Time is 8:30. We will get going here. We will have time for questions at the end. I am Andrew Park. I'm a meteorologist with the National Weather Service here in Juneau, and behind me we have.
I'm Zoe Kaplan, another meteorologist with National Weather Service Juneau.
Again, we are not super IT nerds. We're just meteorologists. So if you have any IT issues, please let us know. We will have time for questions at the end. We're going to stay on for a bit for anyone in specific communities that you're concerned about. But we'll get going here. Right now, we'll look at current conditions. We requested a mesoscale sector from the GOES satellites. We're getting 1 minute observations from satellites, and we can see this really prominent hurricane force low across our coast. And that's going to continue lifting to the panhandle. Our messaging remains consistent. Not many changes. We're really confident on these hurricane force winds. And we can see this developing low in SAR wind passes. This satellite aperture radar, satellite derived winds. This is from our friends in Canada. And The red, simply put, we have 45 to 50 knot sustained winds. And just from experience, when you have SAR winds picking up these winds, it is strong out there. But we can see this really prominent center, and that's going to continue to lift towards our area. Current observations, we can see winds are increasing across the region. Clarence Strait starting to see 45 miles an hour, Cape Decision starting to see 47 miles an hour. And we can see that trend in the marine exchange obs as well, just seeing winds go up and up and up and up. So I'm going to turn it over to Zoe. We have the actual brief packet that we're sharing with folks here. So far, are we sounding okay? Can I have one person, Shelly or Foxes or John? Can you just see how we're sounding and making sure that we're not just, you guys can't hear us before we continue?
Nice.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody. We'll have Zoe talk over. I'm going to switch over the screen here. We'll go over through our briefing.
Cool. No.
Oh, I just lost the camera, but. And we're back. Okay. Zoe, take it away.
You want to toss that in slideshow mode? Thanks. Cool. So yeah, I mean, we all know we have a pretty strong low that's moving through the Gulf right now, and that's gonna mainly impact us through Friday evening. So that should just be kind of a small time slot of the biggest impact of winds, but it's looking like widespread gales and storm force sustained winds for the central and southern areas, but really the biggest impact is going to be the storm force to hurricane force winds, sustained winds that we're expecting along the southern outside waters and for the southern inner channels. So we've got a high wind warning out. And this is a little bit of a timeline of just our system that's coming through. So as of 10 a.m., we're going to see this low is fully developed. I mean, you saw that beautiful image that we had at the beginning. That's what it looks like right now. It's pretty intense. So we're seeing strong gales, gales to strong gales, like 34 to 47 knots around. But we really don't want you to focus on the numbers with this. We just really want you to focus on the main impacts, because I mean, numbers, they're just kind of semantics in systems like this. So yeah, we've got this high wind warning that's out for a lot of the panhandle right now. So we've got the central and southern panhandle communities. We want to just make sure that everything is fully covered, because there's going to be a lot of wind, and that's going to be blowing around any and all unsecured objects and trees. It could damage property. The trees could damage property, and that could cause power outages. And yeah, definitely be careful if you're traveling, and especially if you're a mariner during this. So
I'm going to pop in here too. So really want to focus on the timing. Right now it is 8:30. The winds are going to continue to increase. By 10 a.m., we're thinking the low is going to be fully developed. And so what that means is for the central and southern inner channels, we're going to be seeing sustained winds of at least 34 to 47 knots, with Frederick Sound south seeing the worst of it. Coastal waters, Sitka along to Dixon Entrance, we're going to see the hurricane force winds. And that highest wind threat is really as that low makes landfall. You can think of this almost like a hurricane in Florida or Texas. As that low makes landfall, you get those really, really strong winds in a really small portion of the area. So northern Prince of Wales, Clark, Craig, Port Protection, that's going to be under the gun for the strongest winds. And so from around 11 a.m. to 4 p.m., that's our highest wind threat. And then after 4 p.m., after that low makes landfall, we'll start to see storm force, so 55 knot southwest winds really hitting Prince of Wales hard, maybe into Sitka as well. And then later on tonight, we'll see those winds decrease. And I'll turn over back to Zoe and go over those wind graphics we have for you.
Yeah, so this is where we especially want you to focus on the colors and less of the numbers, the specific numbers. But as you can see, right off the coast of Prince of Wales Island and like over by southern Baranof, that's where the strongest winds are going to be coming up. And you can see it's starting to form that low, even in just the colors, which is pretty indicative that it's very strong. And you can see, so it's starting to go up the southern Chatham Strait and into Sumner Strait as well. And so that's where the winds are going to be the strongest for the inner channels, is coming right out of the Gulf and right into the entrances. And that's still going to impact all the way up to Frederick Sound and getting all the way up to northern Chatham. And we're seeing the impacts really spreading up through those channels, and those channels can really funnel the winds up there. So the impacts are going to be pretty strong going all the way up through those channels. Yeah, so
probably had C's on here too.
Yeah, so this is kind of the outlook. As you can see, that this system is going to be the main impact for the week. So the rest of the week is looking pretty benign. Got some more typical fall weather coming in, but this low is very abnormal for this time of year. So, or not even just for this time of year, but just for this area in general. Seeing a hurricane force low is pretty intense.
Yeah, I've been here a couple of years, and we'll get a lot of hurricane force winds in the Gulf and the offshore waters, but usually the low is weakening as it makes landfall. And so this is pretty unusual to have this low of this strength fully maturing as it makes landfall in Prince of Wales. So we really want to emphasize this is not just another windy day in Alaska. I know there's that running joke of we don't name our storms, we just call it Friday, but this is a life-threatening situation. This is a very strong storm, and we need to make sure, preparations, if they're not done now, it might be too late. So
things are a little different for us in Alaska. So yeah, that's why we don't typically name systems that reach this strength, especially because it's not a typical hurricane, but we are just seeing hurricane force winds with this system. And that'll only be around the peak of the system. Like the winds will be very strong for the entirety of the system, but that peak is going to be where we see the strongest winds. And that will, come up and then crest and then come back down from there.
Yeah, moving on to, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat. We're going to just focus on the south and then the central and then the northern panhandle with a few of these graphics. Yeah, Shelly, it is relatively quiet, but by 10 in the morning, we're going to start to see things escalate, and we'll be watching Facebook pretty closely, Zoe and I. And so if you have any, concerns, reports, we'll be waiting and watching. So
yes. And please send reports if you have videos or any sort of impacts that you want to share with us. Please make sure to email us at juno.weather@noaa.gov.
I'll put that in the chat.
Yeah. So make sure to email us because we want to see all these videos. We want to know what's happening. And honestly, in the panhandle so big like this in Alaska, where not everybody has access to the internet and not everybody is able to see all of these reports, it's great for us to be able to see what's happening in all those little communities that we can't really get access to.
And so turning focus over to our graphic for today's maximum wind gust. Sea level consulting, I see that, and we'll get to that rainfall here in a little bit. These are land-based points, so they could be a little bit more protected than what we would see. So what I really want to focus in is that color. Like we're going to be seeing these really strong winds down south today. We expect these winds to start to come down later on tonight, so after 7 p.m. This is the southern panhandle here from Sumner Strait south, and then moving up to the central panhandle. Check that out. That worked. Nice. Sitka, we could see some pretty strong, I think, southeast winds, and the southwest winds could come through as well. That's going to be a pretty good wind switch down there. And so be aware of that.
Yeah, we'll be back on to do more lives.
Oh, hey, Jazz. Hey, yep, I see you. We can do more live updates through the day. Our main purpose, we're extra staff today. Our main purpose here for Zoe and I is just a communication. But we have a lot of people on hand. So these are the main wind gusts, really impacting the central panhandle really hard. When we say central panhandle, we mean Sitka, Frederick Sound, south to Sumner. We do have some concerns for Admiralty Island. We know there's a lot of hunting going on. Angoon, you could be protected, but there's not just people at Angoon. We have a lot of hunters out and around. So
yeah, typically Angoon is more wind blocked. It is an area that is more sheltered from winds like this. But in these kind of systems, this is where winds can pick up and they can move past those shelters and kind of break through that area. So, it's never a guarantee if you will be fully sheltered.
Yep. And here's the northern panhandle for Juneau. It's going to be windy today. We're going to see some, northeast winds. And we all know if we live in Juneau for a long time, when we get northeast winds, we get really gusty. And so we've seen that this morning. I was riding my bike into work and the trees were moving. But really the biggest impacts are going to be down south. There could be some aviation concerns for wind shear from planes coming and going. But we've got the TAFs on that. So,
and even driving conditions are not the best in systems like this. If you live in Juneau and you've been driving down Egan, you know that when the winds are really strong, you can literally feel them moving your car. In moments like that, that's not when it's safe to be on the road. So be very careful of that as well. Most transportation.
Okay, let's touch base on sea level for the rainfall here. All right, we're going to touch base on rainfall. I'm just pulling up some latest stuff we have, so give us a moment here.
Yeah.
While we're waiting, it's, we are going to have periods of heavy rain as the system moves through, but it's really a wind threat. We don't have like these really significant long duration atmospheric river event, but we will see some pretty heavy rain as this low makes landfall. And there could be some isolated thunderstorms as well. Looks pretty unstable on the back side of this low with a lot of cold air.
And when we have those isolated thunderstorms and just isolated showers in general, that can bring very quick and impactful rain and winds just for that period that shower is moving over you. So that might not be necessarily sustained winds that are hitting you, but as that shower moves over, that's when you're going to see the strongest of those impacts. And so we're seeing that kind of on the backside of the low after the main front moves over. We're going to see all of that convection coming up, and that's what's going to potentially bring those showers all the way over into the panhandle.
And one thing I just from personal notes, when we mention thunderstorms, people get really focused on lightning. That's cool. We don't really, it's important to think about, but it's really about the gusty winds. It's about how, what comes up to feed those thunderstorms also comes down. So when you have rising air, you've got also rising or sinking air. And so that's what we're really highlighting is, for mariners, like the gust factor on the backside of this low. And so that's the main threat. When we say thunderstorms, we're thinking about gusty winds, heavy rain from these really productive cells. So rain threat, it's really like we're going to see heavy rain, but we should remain below 2 to 3 inches. And so it's just going to be a wet storm in terms of what we normally experience. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Shelly, I mean, if you're excited about thunder, yeah, great. We're kind of sweating bullets over here. So the less threats we have, the better it can be for us.
We did see some videos of some pretty loud thunder in Sitka the other day, which was pretty surprising, especially for this area.
So that's what we have. We're looking at satellite derived winds. It's matching our forecast really well. And that's what's critical is we need to make sure we're tracking where that low is, what the winds look like, and see if our forecast is different from current conditions. We have a lot of really cool tools to be able to do that. So we're going to stand by and just monitor comments. But the simple message is if you can stay inside today, especially in Prince of Wales, please do so. Solomon, I see your question. When will we see peak winds hit Annette Island? I'm just leaning over to our AWIPS station here to see what's in our gridded forecast.
Yeah. So the grid forecast is the main forecast that you will see. Thanks. The grid forecast is the main forecast that you will see eventually. And that's just what we work on. Of course, yeah. We wanted to do these lives because it's just a way easier way for us to connect and hear questions from the public. Like, I mean, on Facebook, we get questions all the time and we want to be able to answer those in full, but especially when there's a system like this, it's just easier to be able to fully talk to the people that we're serving in this community.
So Solomon, the wind speeds are going to peak from around 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and then you should start to decrease, but that gust factor is to pay attention to on the backside of the low. It could get pretty gusty this evening.
Sitka's pretty in the middle, right on the edge.
Yep, SP I see. And then Whiskey, I see your question here. Again, don't focus so much on the numbers. It's just our gridded forecast where it picks certain pixels. Really focus on that color. And we're seeing we still have those high colors down in the central region. And so just focus on that. Sometimes our grids share, like sea level can be also 5,000 feet because our grid's about 2 kilometers wide. And we all know in the complex terrain of Alaska that, our mountains go right into the ocean. So that's why we try to focus so much on those numbers and focus on those colors instead.
Specifically in downtown Juneau. I mean, if you've been to Juneau, you know that it's pretty much just downtown and then mountains. Correct. And that is all in the same grid block for us. So if that puts it into perspective a little bit. Also, yeah, we can pull the SAR back up.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
And I'll put our phone number again in here as well. This goes directly to us. Anybody can call it, President of the United States to, commercial fishermen. And then here's our email again.
So those numbers were for gusts.
Juno.weather. Image of Ketchikan, yes. Let's see.
And specifically with this SAR, it's very important to know that the wind barbs, the directional flow that you can see in there, that is derived. So it is not necessarily exactly what's happening. So in that little swirl in the middle where it's a little bit kind of off, that it might not necessarily be 100% accurate, but it's mostly that big swath of strongest winds that's where you can see. And that is more typically accurate as what we were looking at. So that is important to know about the SARs as well.
Yeah, and Lauren, if you want to email us, we can get you more information. And Dustin, I'm with you. A lot of our sites aren't sheltered correctly, and so I feel very strongly that sometimes winds are a little stronger than what our observations report.
So most areas in Southeast Alaska are going to be affected just in general, especially Ketchikan and Metlakatla. They're, very on the outer coast areas, so they will see more strong winds. It just won't be as strong as what's going to hit the eastern coast or the western coast of Prince of Wales and like the southern tip of Baranof and everything. They won't be as strong, but they are still going to see impacts.
Yeah, and as we can see from the current obs, Veronica, we're already seeing gusts to 50 miles an hour in Clarence Strait. And so these will impact you. And we look upstream towards Hecate and Dixon Entrance, they're seeing gusts to 50. So the simple message is winds are going to continue to increase, especially for Sumner Strait, Clarence Strait. But again, the highest winds are going to be that northern tip of Prince of Wales, so Port Protection, Craig, Kawak, those big areas up there. But yeah, Ketchikan, you're going to be seeing strong winds today. Your lives will be impacted. So we're gonna end this call here. We have a lot of other responsibilities we got to get to. You have our phone number, you have our email. We want to hear from you. Please let us know. And if you have any reports and you're safe, let us know. Take a picture. Yes, Jazz, it will be. Dick, we'll send us an email. We can get more information to you. I'm not savvy enough to switch over these screens and find that again. So
well, just the TLDR is we're seeing pretty typical rainfall rates for this time of year. It's just combined with those winds that can make impacts a little bit more dangerous. Yeah. So it is, especially for Ketchikan, since Ketchikan, gets a lot of rain. So it will be more typical rain amounts for Ketchikan. It's just going to be more of that combined with the winds that will be the biggest impact.
Sure. What's the precip we've received so far? Yeah, so we think maybe, I think our forecast is additional 2 to 3, maybe 2 inches. We're confident that's not going to be more than 3 inches in 24 hours. And so it's just that focusing on those periods of heavy rainfall from convective showers that move through.
Yeah, it's specifically those showers that's going to bring the heaviest amounts of rainfall at one time. So, when it's more of just the stratiform rainfall, then it's going to be more consistent. But when those showers move over, that's when the hard rain really hits. And same with the wind gusts. That'll bring the strongest wind gusts. So when we say showers, just want to mention again, we don't necessarily mean, when we say thunderstorms, we don't necessarily mean thunder and lightning is the main impact. We mean more of the showers and those gusty winds and that strong precip right when those showers move over. That's kind of what we're talking about.
All right. If you guys have any more information, please call us. You have our email. We'd love to hear from you. We're gonna sign off here, and I think we're gonna try to do another live stream near noon when we start to see those peak winds on touch base again. But we'll post on our Facebook and also our partner chat. So thanks everybody. We really appreciate your time. We had a lot of people join this call. Thank you for bearing with us as we talk. We're not what do you call those influencers? We're not social media influencers. So
but we're working on it.
Yeah. Thanks everybody.